Peace, 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 peace. I'm trying to do this like on two different devices. Looks like the setup gotta be fixed. That way I'm not looking at multiple things at once. And it's gonna take me out of what I'm trying to process. I think this is okay. We gonna get that figured out. I'm gonna get it figured out. Peace, how you doing? So I basically came on live today because I'm processing something. Peace, this is Star, and I can't really see anything because I got like medicine in my eyes. So I'm not gonna be doing like a whole lot of like engagement, but I wanted to process something. So I'm literally in this space where I was sitting like last night and I just received like the ultimate like revelation. And what happens a lot of times is that when you dealing with levels of like recreating boundaries and recreating structure for yourself, a lot of times you have to basically redefine how you are with you. But we don't really get that always, because it doesn't really make sense to us. And what do I mean by that? A lot of times we've been operating out of programming. Like this is things that have been given to us systematically. This is things that we've done naturally as like growing up. And it's just like levels of us just being who we have always known ourselves to be based off of our engagements with other people. Before I move forward, I like to call in a level of protection over myself and whoever is reading or listening to this message. I ask that our teams be with us, our guides be with us, that only the highest vibrational level be reached in this communication. I only desire those who are in need of this message to receive it, and I ask that it be received at the highest vibrational frequency for all good. I thank Big Mama. I thank Father Spirit, Son of Power, Daughter Earth for being here. I thank my ancestors who are here guiding me at my highest light, and I just receive that. So moving forward, 222. Come on, big guy. I love that. Yeah, so back to what I was saying. So we basically come into these levels of being, and then you start healing yourself, right? And you start creating boundaries and different practices, different ways of existing, different ways of living. And sometimes we don't really comprehend how that looks, and how that translates in a lot of ways. And what do I mean by that? We don't really leave room for spirit to be spirit. When you decide and you understand that you are making a commitment to be here on purpose, be intentional about your experiences and your existence, a lot of decisions have to be remade, you know? And people won't really get that, but this is not a community thing. This is really a personal thing at first. It's a personal decision at first. I may have been programmed to make decisions that went against me before. I may have done things or picked up habits, based off of community, based off of um, not just even community, based off of how you experience things, based off of life events. I might literally just do things a certain way because I've been so calcified and shroomed up, and fortified in pain and trauma that I actually have, trauma responses to things. And I do these things differently. But when I start healing myself, when I start healing myself, once again, I can't really see that well, so, but I peace. Once again, I might not necessarily operate in a space where I'm aware of these things prior to. So when you start coming back to levels of yourself, because what you have to comprehend, if you can, is that when you're in trauma, and you take on these wounds and you perceive this pain and you live in this, it's hurt, right? And you continue to engage with this thing for sometimes 5, 10, 15 years. Peace, sis, how you doing? 15 years or however long it may be for whoever, right? Um, you become something based off of your engagement. So when you coming back to this level of refreshment, the exhale, that weight being lifted off of you and all of this good jazz, you have to actually learn how, one, to be with you. You got to learn how to make space and make room for you, and you got to learn how to understand, you know, what you've become in your absence, you know, and that could be complicated sometimes because sometimes it's difficult standing in the mirror and catching that full view, you know, catching that full view, and it feels amazing, don't it? It feels so amazing when you have that weight just be like just sucked up off of you because it's sometimes, and our teachers, our guides teach us this, Sister Myra teaches us this, that's when Big Mama really, 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 you're prime for her picking. When you get to the spaces where it's like, well, I did everything. Like I forgave, spirit. I care for myself. I set boundaries, spirit. I still showed up, spirit. I didn't let my heart be closed, spirit. So it's like, I still like, hey, I was in the right position, spirit, right? And it's like when you get to that point, it's like, well, I did my best, and and you are aware that you're still receiving the less of an experience, or you perceive that you're receiving the less of an experience, and then you come into contact with something that for all intensive purposes doesn't really benefit from the boundaries that you set, doesn't really benefit from the healing that you perceive that you've made and your steps that you've taken, and isn't actually meant to engage with you at the level that you're desiring for. But sometimes we perceive that because we've done the work, right, that the interactions that we're going to have with the places that required us in the first place, y'all, because this is the drip, okay, that required us in the first place to create the boundaries. Okay, like you're the reason why I had to make these boundaries, and I made these boundaries, and I'm still in this space that, one, I really don't desire to be in this space anymore, right? And then two, I've healed myself to a certain level where there's a certain agitation while I'm in this space, but yet I'm choosing to maintain a certain level, right, of whatever grace of decision that I've made with myself, of love with myself, of understanding, with other people, right? And then you be wanting the thing to be in agreement with the decisions that you've made differently for you. And it don't work like that for us, y'all. Sometimes we have to understand that when you're spiraling out of a circumstance, when there's this vortex that you find yourself meeting, and you're in this space where it's like, okay, I call it big head, because it's always a big head, y'all. Even if it's a little head, they got big personality, they want big energy, they want big attention. You said, oh my God. And I already know because it's another level too, sis. So thank you for reminding me of that. It's a yummy feeling when you doing and you making decisions that benefit you. When you're in a space of alignment with your soul, when you are in communion with your team and you're receiving, I feel like my daily bread, you know. Um, it's a yummy thing. My team said to me last night in meditation, you deciding to not get your daily bread is the equivalence of you deciding to continue to eat food and not digest it. That's how they talk to me, y'all. They talk to me real thorough like that, okay? And when I heard that, I understood it perfectly. It's like when we don't meditate, when we don't connect with ourselves, when we're not committed to the choices that we've made for ourselves, when we're not habitual and ritualistic about the patterns that we're relearning and we're reprogramming for ourselves, we have this desire to get back in the habit of being, not ourselves when moving forward in circumstances that we no longer desire to be in. Like I don't want to be in communication with Big Head, right? But Big Head is at the trigger station. I can't leave the trigger station once I get to the trigger station. I got to deal with this trigger. I got to deal with this agitation. Why am I agitated, spirit? Because if I was fully understanding, then I wouldn't be agitated. I would be understanding, right? If I was really, really, really healed with this thing, there's a level of ease that I have, even when I come into a space that may not be ready to receive who I am. You may still be committed to another version of me. So you wanting me to show up like that when I'm not even that. So when I show up and I arrive and I'm at this space, I could be in a situation too, if I'm not sure of who I am and the decisions that I've made, and I'm not receiving my daily bread, I'm not in meditation, I'm not breathing, you know what I mean? I'm not actually, loving myself, sure of the love that I have myself. I'm not making room for my spirit. Sometimes I'm going to show up to a situation, I'm going to be like, why ain't you still with the correction? It be low, it's be underfoot. It'd be so underfoot, y'all. It'd be so like, it's so quiet. It's so quiet, y'all. It's so quiet. The undertone of I've healed a thing because I wrote it down and I burned it, and I said it out, I sung it out, I cried it out, I took the bath, I journaled, I took the time, I forgave. Like you get in this space of thinking, okay, I did the work. Your spirit is saying, now you got to make room for me. That agitation that you perceive, this motion. That's what it calls. That's what it's like to be in the flow. That's motion. When I heal some stuff and then I come into engagement with that thing, and then I'm in a position to where I'm feeling something still. One, I'm still at the triggers. Look, I'm still at the trigger station. I have not graduated this space yet. I haven't graduated yet, right? And if you allow yourself to truly understand what it looks like to be in a vortex where you're engaging with levels of people, levels of circumstance, levels of, because it ain't always a big head. Sometimes a big head could be a system, you know? Sometimes a big head can be, a mindset that you can't let go of with yourself, right? It ain't always got to be a person. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes it be you. Sometimes it's you not actually being firm on the decision that you made. And when you're making room for the other half of who you are, for your total sum, for sense to be made, when you're allowing the divine intervention to come into play, right? How are you really, really deciding for this to happen when at the same time you're wanting to decide for other people how they should be responding in the midst of a boundary that you set? They ain't really here for the change, y'all. They not here for the shift of you. They are here for the opposite, the duality. They are trying to see, are you standing 10 toes down with the decision that you've made for you? Are you sure? Are you sure? Do I get to piss you off? Like, can I affect you? If you really about this, if you really done been taken care of, if you all of this, right? Can I get to you? Can I get under? No, bro. You got to make a decision. It's no. It's a no, Captain. It's a no, Captain. You got to be sure of it. It's a no. Like your peace, you got to be like protecting your peace. That's what it means. It's not like a fight. It's not I'm gonna cuss you out because you ain't gonna mess with my peace, but I'm getting out of my peace to instruct you on how you supposed to be with the boundaries that I set for me. Huh? Mm, that'd be weird. But sometimes we don't comprehend that. Sometimes we get in the midst of feeling like we heal some stuff. So we get in the midst of fighting other people because you don't think that they're healing because you still in judgment. So you ain't really healed. So then you still wanting to show up as correction when you really, really, really haven't actually stood and stuck on the correction that you made for you. I'm speaking from personal experience, you guys. I'm speaking from personal experience. You know, sometimes we get in a habit of wanting to like help other people get to the level of your frequency instead of just respecting that it's not in your frequency and you deciding something different for yourself. You making a choice for you, you having a commitment that you've made to you, you being focused or at least loving yourself enough to say, hey, all right, before we would have handled this way, but I love myself enough. I love myself enough to hear myself at this moment, to take this time with myself, to say, okay, I'm here in this space and I see what it is that I'm doing. I see what it is that I want to do. Like, hey, look, I feel like my neck row, I feel like my neck row is official. Okay, you guys? And I feel like the neck row sometimes be given all it needs to give. Peace, how you doing? I be feeling like that, right? So it's like when certain situations, especially because I told you I like big head, all right? Because that's how I be talking to my team. Here she go. Here he go. Come on, big head. We at the trigger station. Let's get it, right? But my face still registers it. That's what my spirit told me. Like, you still registering it though, sis. You still actually feeling it though, sis. So let's go back at a deeper rate, sis. Are we really, really healed from this? Have we made a decision for real? You know, like, is this a thing where I'm actually still requiring the trigger to not trigger? Or have I actually got to the trauma of this thing? I might have got like a small piece of that trigger. Maybe I ain't really get the trigger. Maybe I got the trig and I stopped there. So I try to show up at the event thinking that the event would give me a different type of experience because I'm healed and I got boundaries now and you're going to respect. No, you was disrespect that I had to learn. So I had to learn how to respect me. You showed me that I didn't respect myself because I taught you how to come at me that way. So now I created these boundaries of love and care. So I'm going to continue to love and care me, even when I come into contact with the thing that I remember was the reason why I had to learn how to love and care me in a new way. And when you do that, you got to make room for your spirit to come in and actually be what spirit is. Spirit gonna be what spirit is. If you start getting agitation, if you got a fallout, if you find yourself at another position, if you find yourself in another situation and you in contact with the thing that you done had to heal away from, you got to be able to be intentional about saying, okay, all right, if I came into contact with this thing and I got a breakout from this, like I got an irritation, like I got a rash, right? I'm going to figure out what this rash is meaning for me. I'm going to understand, what does this mean for me? I'm not going to be mad, like, damn, skin over here getting a rash, upset at me, upset at my body, taking on bad energy, creating a disharmony in my nervous system, dysregulating myself. Because I done came in contact with this thing, I got to be sure of the promise. A promise has been made to me. A promise has been made to you. So it's like, if I got the promise, because they know, big head knows you got the promise. They trying to figure out what's going on with you. They be just as shocked as you as you be at you for responding and reacting to them not respecting your boundaries. They be just in shock. They be baffled. Like, is she really, you know? And this is how I know. They will smile when you respond differently after a while. First couple of times, they ain't gonna get it. They gonna be like, you think you know, you think I bet you, I know how to get you, right? And they'll go lower than hell, right? They'll hit under the belt of under the belt, okay? And you continue to move through the decision that you done made for you because your boundaries is you loving you. It ain't no attack against nobody else. I didn't say that you couldn't speak to me this way just because I'm trying to control how you talk. I actually have a requirement on how I engage with people in communication. And I desire to engage with communication at a certain rate. So this is a decision I've made. So it's like I'm gonna keep on making this decision. But it's like when you make room for spirit, it's like get your hands off of it. Don't be mad about it. Don't get mad at them, y'all. Don't be mad. Accept. Don't judge. No, I don't gotta get you right. I don't gotta tell you how to act with me. That's the boundary. The boundary does what it does. What does that mean? Oh, it's a communication level that I'm not, engaging with. So this isn't a space that I'm gonna be in. So it's like a movement, it's motion. You in the flow, you moving. You know what I mean? You don't gotta dictate that movement. That movement's gonna do what it do. I'm not in judgment of me. So when neck rolls start to, I'm like, ooh, it's a snake in the spirit. It's a swivel in the neck. Let me get up. Let me get up. I feel my neck. I know it's DNA deep. I might not be able to really heal that neck roll too much. And I still might not register with my face. But if I'm starting to communicate within my body a different way, and I feel the agitation in my spirit, the correction is within me that can be made. The decision is with me that can continue to be made. The love that I need to give to a situation is with me, and it could continue to be gave. I don't have to stop at what I'm doing at any rate. I don't have to correct or tell anybody. Don't ever call yourself telling somebody how to be with you. Don't waste your time. Why? Because people know. They know what they don't want. So if they're having certain levels of comprehension where they're processing things at a certain rate, then they're going to have a conversation with themselves. Hey, Bob, you don't like this, so you don't give this. That's a them thing. And if you in the business of having your hands light, if you're in the business of being like free with some stuff in your spirit, if you're in the business of not taking on the burdens of others because you ain't out here to save everybody, you're going to be intentional about certain things. Like you're going to know that I don't really got to correct Bob. Bob knows what Bob did. Bob could have that conversation with him and his ancestors. His spirit could get him together. I'm gonna be in my swivel over here, moving on to the next thing. Why? Because it's motion over here, and I can't be bothered. I don't got no blockages, no boundaries or borders that are keeping me from doing what I need to do. And if you weren't the engagement that I was meant to have today, you were either a pit stop or something that needed to receive something from me, and it's over my head at this point. It's above me. It's beyond my pay grade. Like it's literally in somebody else's hands at this time. Why? Because my hands is light. And if I'm not correcting you, and if I'm honoring me, if I'm understanding, because a lot of us say we be understanding and we get stuff, but then we don't really understand. Like you don't get why Big Head had to be Big Head. You really haven't comprehend like whatever it is that you're engaging with. So I don't want to be on no horse, y'all. I'm just saying, like, at a rate, if you allow yourself to continue to move through circumstance after you don't receive levels of knowledge about how to be different in situations, you got to be able to honor yourself and allow yourself to say, I love me enough to learn a new way of doing things. And I don't want to continue to speak to me, speak over me, live over me, where I'm lording over situations. It's one thing to be a boss, it's another thing to be bossy. One of them is bitchy. One of them is not asked for. Another one you can't control. Another one is just is. Like I'm just a boss just because I'm a boss. Bossy is me trying to correct a thing, trying to make a thing be something that I want it to be. A boss is like, this is the title in which I have. It ain't really, this is my business. You got to be the boss over you and your business because you're your focus. People don't get that. Like you should be willing to you. You know, your attention should be, you should be praying over you. You should have time for you. And if you notice a thing, when people are busy taking care of themselves, they don't got time to try to bring down the frequency of other people. They only actually desiring to meet with the frequency that either they desire to reach or the frequency that they actually are calling, to amplify with. That's what it means to be prejudiced, y'all. When I said that the other day on my live when I was talking about it's time to be prejudiced, I'm not talking about like no color. I'm talking about, hey, I have an appetite for knowledge. So what does that mean? I'm making a decision to not be around gossip. I'm prejudiced towards gossip. That means I don't like it. It's not in agreement with me. It's not in alignment with me. It's not going to amplify where I'm at. It's not going to get me to where I'm going. So I'm not going to actually engage with this. It's a decision I've made. It's a boundary here. And I understand that gossip got to be gossip. That's okay. That's okay. Move through it. Be motion. Be water. Be flow. Don't keep on dictating for other people what they need to be. You make the decision with you. You have a communication with your spirit, with your soul. You talk to your ancestors. You talk to your team. You focus on you. Don't try to get caught up on what nobody. Who cares? What does it matter? Why you care? What's going on with them? Why does it matter what they have? Why does it matter that y'all have? Why? What do you got going on with you? And if you have everything going on with you, you should be busy. So when you come into contact with big head, what's a face, situation, system, attitude, thought process, memory, whatever you come into contact with that you done created a new way of being in that you had to heal from, you're going to continue to do the things that you set up practices for because you knew that you was going to have to come into contact with this thing because you knew that you can't really get rid of other people and how they deal with stuff. You could heal your way out of it. And that means you're going to have to be able to float at this frequency. You're going to have to be able to be at this altitude. Everybody up here got their own face mask on. So it's like if I'm ascending, if I'm high vibration, everything going to go high vibration with me. And if it's low vibration, I'm just going to get higher. Oop, must have had a dip in my frequency. Let me get it together real quick. And it sounds real bonkers to some people because it's like people be using catch frequencies. But when you really, really in tune with yourself and you actually check yourself, you start listening to your body, you start listening to your gut, listening to your head, listening to your skin, and seeing how your skin responds to certain environments, how your aura, how the air around you changes when you're around certain things, you'll start to actually understand that frequency is a real intentional like thing. It's like a real palatable thing. It's not just like no word. And you'll start actually fixing the channel. The correction is always with you. It's always you and you. Always you and you. Even when you come back into contact with the thing that you're healing from, because you got to graduate, y'all. You got to actually heal from it. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Did you really, really make this decision? Are we firm on it? Yeah, we are. Even if it's Delulu, even if you're like crazy as heck, because sometimes we got to be crazy. Because sometimes it definitely deserves the old energy. Sometimes you could always figure out a reason why something needs to be fight, especially when you were so good at it, especially when you had to live in a fight or flight survival mode for so long that you were so good at doing things on the go. Sometimes it'd be real frustrating to have to sit within yourself and deal with yourself, even when you see other people not dealing with themselves. Sometimes that'd be real agitating. That's love. That's big mama. That's big mama. Let's deal with this. Let's acknowledge me right here. Make room for me. Digest me. Stomach me. Intentionally expect me to be here. Why? Because you don't understand what it actually means when you actually get that rash now. You don't know what it means when you get that irritation in your spirit now. You don't know what it is. It's a different communication happening. It's a, hey, yo, look at this. Check your right. Check your right. It's something on your right. Because you start communicating like that. You stop having to say, hey, stop making me feel this way. Don't, you stop doing all of that in your neck. And you start actually, I'm gonna go get me some skull cap real quick. I'm gonna go give me, hold on, I need to give me some I need to give me something to like raise my frequency. I'm about to have me some of this. I'm about to go meditate. Let me go ground. Let me get this. Like, you start going to your practices, you start going into your toolbox. You start actually like receiving the levels of what you already know to be true. Like, this is what I did to heal from this thing. So these are the things I'm gonna do when I engage with these things. And if I can't get to the things that I normally do, I'm going to be able to be receiving me within my center and digesting that this isn't something that I desire anymore. And even if I'm just in acceptance of that, that's enough, y'all. And you don't ever have to try to be whatever it is that anybody else needs you to be. You don't ever have to be that. Never. Never. You know, it's a lot of stuff happening. You know what I mean? But it's like, if we know that all of these things are coming up, I said to myself, I've been saying it in my head, y'all, but it's like they got us wanting to focus on so many different things. You know, they got us wanting to focus on so many different things. All of us out here with a Kendrick Lamar spirit, they not like us, and they don't even realize a lot of us ain't even on shit because it's a fad. It's a truth. You're not saying stuff to like be offensive to people. It's literally a truth. Some people ain't actually engaging to heal from a situation. Some people are just actually just bumping into stuff because they might still be asleep. You don't got to wake up nobody. You don't got to basically make them feel like, I don't care. Don't care, y'all. Try not to care about things that don't concern you, about matters that aren't the matter of you. Don't engage with things that make you be dense. Engage with things that's going to propel you. Feed yourself off of you. Be centered within yourself. And if you can't stomach you, don't try to make somebody else stomach you. Don't try to make somebody else take you. It's not necessary. We don't got to be in that space. We don't got to convince ourselves of those type of things. So that's all I really wanted to share. It's a beautiful thing, y'all. It's a beautiful thing when you make a decision and you allow spirit to be spirit. You expect spirit to be spirit. Like, I expect it. I expect me to not feel comfortable in the thing that made me have to be uncomfortable in order enough for me to see and recognize that I was uncomfortable. This thing woke me up. This thing made me have to go out and gather another piece of me that I wasn't even aware that I had relinquished. I had to heal from this engagement previously. I'm not going to go back into this engagement thinking that because I've adjusted to a new matter, that this thing is going to now position itself to have an erect posture to receive me. No, you are actually like having to graduate from that situation. You know that you don't want that no more. So it's like, all right, we made this decision. What are we doing now? It's decision. Stick with what you decided already. Don't fold. No matter what. No matter what. No matter what. Regardless. Don't care who, don't fold. Don't try to decide something different. Don't think that you need to do anything else. If you've done everything that you can do, if you did all of the steps, if you're still, if you forgave, if you're loving, if you ain't been wrecked, if you've been everything that you could be, cool. Stomach it. Be okay that you got character. Be okay that you're integral about certain situations. Be cool with the fact that you said all that you needed to say. Don't allow your energy to be put and placed in things that don't amplify or magnetize or create new pathways for you to gather higher levels of existence for you. Be okay with the decisions you've made for yourself and don't require other people to. It's okay. It's okay, y'all. And it's fun. You know why? Because at some point, certain things will fall off. At some point. You know why? Because they might not be able to breathe at such a high altitude. They might not be able to do that. They probably won't feel comfortable. You don't got to tell them to go. You don't got to correct. You don't got to make. You don't even have to try to fix. If Big Mama done brought you to a certain level of situation, then receive that that's where you need to be at. And know that that's who you should be out here voting for. I'm voting for Big Mama. Okay? And Big Mama I trust, right? I'm receiving the promise that's been made. This is a seed that's been planted in me. I can't get it off my head. It's a desire that's in my heart. I can't want for nothing else. I don't even want anything that's material because I know that it's not going to match up to the level of what I already tasted inside of me. So I'm not even going to focus on anything external. So you can't distract me with this bullshit. I know that they ain't like us, but you talking about a different thing. You trying to distract me from what they got going on here because you still part of the system. So I'm not really invested in what you talking about. But I'm saying they not like us because y'all not like us. Y'all not healing any circumstances. You still thinking that you lack. How can I lack when I'm so rich spiritually? How could I ever need for anything when everything is provided for me? So it's like I've made a decision. So even if this thing comes to try to hit me in my face to convince me of something other than what I've decided, I'm going to still decide what I decided. And then guess what? If I get agitated in the midst of me deciding something, I'm going to accept, oh, okay, this is spirit's time. And I'm going to digest whatever it is that I'm at, wherever it is I'm at, however it is I'm receiving this, and allow it to be whatever it is for me. And be thankful and grateful in this space because that's what it's about. Be thankful. Yes. Ooh. I know at some point, it ain't about trying to wish other people away. Don't do that, y'all. Not wishing people away. But it's about the experiences that you're about to have. So you have an experience with somebody, they're not a good friend. Oh my God, the amazing friendships I'm about to have. Like the people that's going to get me. The type of like connections that I'm going to be able to make. The level of fullness I'm going to have after being with somebody's energy. How happy I get to be with the spaces that I find myself to be in. I create this space right now. God, thank you for letting me have it. I wasn't eating good food. Thank you, Source, for letting me know what real food tastes like. I don't have to be mad at the food. I don't got to cuss the food out. It don't matter. I'm about to have the freshest fruits and vegetables. Spirit, it's like I get to decide the new thing. And in my gratitude, in my space of even if it's Delulu, I get to sit in the refreshment of what I know I'm going to be or I am digesting. Why? Because I'm either being it so I could call it in or I'm maintaining it so I could. And you don't really got to maintain what's given to you by true sources. So it's a lot that could be said with that. But I love y'all. I hope that y'all received this message. If you feel that it was amazing. If you think that you found anything to be helpful, share it and continue to ascend, continue to be intentional about your, connections, and don't force connections. Don't force corrections. Okay. Love yourself, choose yourself, know it's you and you. And that's where you at. That's where we should all be at. Stay focused. Don't allow anything to distract you. You welcome. Hey, bro. Peace. 444. Hey, peace. I don't know if y'all said anything else because then I won't see it. Peace, sis. How you doing? Hi, Michael. Okay, so it's we're fighting ourselves. Yeah. So I love y'all. Take care. Peace.